All right, hello. My name's Colonel Fats, and this is going to be my SGDQ submission for the Rise of P% speedrun. This one's kind of interesting because it's not actually a category yet on speedrun.com, but I've been labbing with my chat and a friend, and we grinding out this route, and I finally got a decent run, so I figured I'd submit it because I think it's really cool because the Rise of P percent is essentially Rise of P is the name of the achievement for getting the third and best ending of the game. So we're essentially doing any percent. We're actually doing all ergo bosses because we do have to take down Nameless. And we're going to be doing a couple of side quests along the way, so we get some cool like cutscenes, and we get to do more story, and we get to see NPC. So it's just kind of a neat little category. It's fun, a little longer, but actually a little less than all bosses, many more stuff to take down. But here's our usual attack. We're going to punch 5 times through the train and then switch to our glaive and then block cancel light through. I bonked, hilarious. That's time loss, but whatever. It's not like we died or anything. So going through the run like normal. Liza P is essentially Pinocchio Dark Souls. Not the Disney Pinocchio, it's based on the novel written by Carlo Collodi, as you can see. But yeah, it has a strong vibe to. I think people would compare it to like Sekiro and Bloodborne mechanics. Um, Whereas it has like the perfect block. If you time your block when an enemy hits you perfectly, it will negate the damage and like parry it. Uh, but then it also has like the Bloodborne healing mechanic. On your last heal, if you're out of heals, you gain 1 damage. I think that's about. Either way, we're just running through this tutorial area. Here's the tutorial boss at the end. Running heavy, punch, 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 charged heavy, and then take the riposte and eat. Just like that. There are a lot of scripts like that in the game for most of the mini bosses or bigger enemies we have to kill. Like we have to take him down to get the key to open. So all those type of enemies we can take down real fast with, and it just becomes more absurd the more we go. Speaking of the glaive is actually just in our inventory right at the start. Like they just give it to us. It's a DLC collaboration with the game Wolong Fallen Dynasty. They got the Umbrella Rapier, which you can get as a boss weapon from the first boss, Raid Master. They got that weapon, and we got the Dragon Azure Dragon Crescent Glaive, which is it is as cool as it sounds. It is a very powerful, very cool giant glaive. It's a strength dex weapon, but it's more in dex, and we're gonna use a crank later to make it scale more in dex than strength, similar to what you can do. But yeah, we're running through here. This thermite is actually one of 3 that we will slowly pick up, and by the time we get to Bishop, we'll have all 3, and we're gonna throw all 3. It's kind of cool. That's the first one. The weapons in this game, we're gonna do a little buying section here after we grab the Largo. The glaive itself has a parry ability. Um, it uses one of the blue bars under our stamina. You can see there's 3, I guess, bars that fill up. As long as we have one, we can use the handle ability, which is a parry. So if we use the parry, it spends the Fable, but if we successfully parry, it gives it back, and then we can do either a light follow up or a heavy follow up. So you light parry into light, light parry into charged heavy, parry into heavy, which spends a bar. It just so happens perfectly damage this guy each time. Got a little unlucky with my damage roll. Didn't do enough, but That's kind of the nature of this game. It's a combination of most bosses, because we're a parry build, we have to know how to parry all of their attacks, because unfortunately we cannot manipulate them, guarantee moves. Most of them can't be. Like that puppet there, he had multiple different attacks, but the script we have where it's this parry light, light, that script will work every time, no matter what attack he gives. But some bosses, uh, we have a plan and it goes well. It's kind of where it's at. Oh, we just lied to get our way into the hotel. The lying mechanic in this game is actually what raises our invisible humanity bar, which makes this category way different than the other ones. We're trying to fill that bar enough to get a cutscene after Alexasia, the lightning lady, way later into the game. We need to get enough humanity throughout the game for that. And actually, that first lie to get into the hotel that you have to do actually gives us a big chunk of points. If this wiki article that we've been following that has this table of humanity points is correct. We've tested out a lot and did the theoretical fastest route based on that table. This cutscene, or do this NPC side quest, do this one, this should have enough to do it, and then it didn't work, and it was, oh my god. So we don't have this a ton, but we think we found the fastest way, doing the least amount of side quests to still get the ending. You don't actually have to do every single thing in the game to get the best end. You have to do a lot of them, almost all of them, to get the best, one of the best or secret weapons in the game. But we are not doing that category yet. My chat's been joking at me that I should do an all achievements run, which would literally be 3 playthroughs in a row. Gotta get all 3 endings. Here's the goat Gemini taking us through here. So unfortunately, the rise of P% speedrun doesn't actually change until we get past Murphy on the run through Vanini Factory. We'll actually be answering all of the riddle phones. Have some fun with the audience on. Hello, dog. Always say hello to the dog. Good luck, dog. So yes, in terms of the humanity points you gain to fill the invisible bar, there's records you collect throughout the game that can give you a small amount. We actually only end up listening to one. Some of the records are like special side quest records that give you more humanity. So we actually get one of the biggest ones by hearing Antonio side quest, the whole thing. And a lot of the side quests in this game really aren't like too ridiculous. Okay, go kill this like insanely hard boss and get this. Like, no, just go talk to this guy. Then go talk to this guy and select the right option. But I always joke that the menu, in terms of like world record speedrunning this, especially in any Souls games, the menu is one of the hardest bosses. You can lose so much time just by like wrong or click. So here's the famous donkey jump, the dump. Just gonna line it up. I use mouse and keyboard. You can see my controls in the bottom left. But because mouse and keyboard allows you to run, like W is perfectly straight line every time, it's much easier to just line it up with the keyboard. And then the only use of that, this cheeky little jump and equip the glaive while we're still moving. Fight donkey. This is where bosses are basically, we have a plan, we'll see what you do. Plan is basically do Fable Parry heavy into charge heavy, and then do it again. Now, if he decides I'm just going to walk around and not swing, we can take some shots at him, and then everything's already slow. It's just the RNG of the bosses really lose. But that was pretty solid. We will take it. Didn't die. So I've done it once already, but I haven't really explained it. But there's an animation cancel that we use throughout the run in certain spots where it's like sometimes, like especially in this run, it's very useful because every time our springs react, there's a little cutscene and there's a float. You can actually cancel that little cutscene animation by, If you don't have a weapon equipped, you go into your menu and you attempt to use the grinder to repair your weapon, which we actually just did right there because Murphy has health coming up that we repair it. um, but essentially, you go into your inventory and you click on the grinder real fast, and it'll cancel the. We're actually gonna do that here. It's gonna skip the entire Murphy cutscene, the boss intro cutscene, which saves like 14 seconds. It's kind of crazy. So we get the animation cancel and the boss fight immediately starts. If we don't get that at like GDQ, not whatever, not a world record. But if you're definitely going for like world record in any of the categories, you pretty much have to nail this skill. So here's it says scrapped watchman, but lore wise, his name is Murphy. He was a police puppet who has gone crazy. Got to stop him. And he's in the. The biggest thing about this fight is we want good attacks, which we can't necessarily control. We also need to make sure we always have Fable. So that's why you see me doing a lot of Fable Light. Because the Fable Lights don't cost Fable. And even if we're completely out of stamina, you can always Fable parry. But if you're completely out of stamina and you try to perfect block, it won't work. So you have to Fable parry when you're out of stamina. So that whole fight is really all about managing your Fable, just making sure you have some wall. So you have 2 bars, send it with the heavy to. But he also has a grab attack in phase 2, which you're kind of always looking out for. So here is another hotel segment. We're going to buy some level up our dex to 20. We're going to Fable Catalyst Quartz. Quartz is used to upgrade in a different way. This is our P organ. Basically, once we rescue Dad from Donkey, we can come back here and upgrade our P quartz we have. We buy some specific ones. The early ones are very good, and then some of them are kind of useless, but they all end up working out. We only upgrade our P organ twice. Oh, and there's another thing right there. So that area I just walked into was a training area, and they give you infinite Fable there to practice all the moves stuff with the weapons you want to use. And what we can do is when you go in and it fills up your Fable and you walk out, it doesn't take the Fable away. You just get it. So we can walk in there, and you actually like if you run in there and run out, it won't give you the Fable. You actually have to stop running and walk, and then you can leave. It's kind of interesting how that works. But now here is going to be the first part where the run deviates in Rise of People. Because we will be doing Arlecchino's Riddle Master quest line. That involves answering all of these phones scattered throughout the game that he gives you a riddle. Very cool voice actor, but we're dialogue. Pull the firebomb, didn't time it right, so I got hit. So he's gonna give us a riddle. It's the classic, feet numbering 4 feet, then 2 feet, then 3. Yeah, it's human. Whatever. Lifespan of human. Classic. Every time he gives every time we solve a riddle, he gives us like a Trinity key, or in one case, he gives us like the directions to the Trinity key. But we don't actually need to get the rewards from the riddles to get the humanity. Once we answer the riddle, that gives us the humanity points. So that's all we needed to do was just answer the riddle and keep going. For the last riddle, before we run into him, we get a special that unlocks his where he is. Very cool quest line. One of the coolest ones in the game for me. Is it I don't really necessarily I don't know if we would or not spoil Arlecchino quest line, but he's basically the first puppet to gain he like broke the code because like they're all instilled with the Grand Covenant, and the Grand Covenant is essentially what like that gives them the rules. You can't lie, you can't harm humans, blah blah blah, so they obey and be good puppets. But he was the first one to kind of break that, and he became a serial. And now he's answering. He's giving riddles and connected. It's very cool. It's wild. They do very well with the NPC storylines and the Dark Souls vibe, where they're very depressing and sad, kind of like every anime backstory. So we're just running through here. We're touch these walls, and obviously a good spot for Tony. I'm not your boyfriend. Hey, that's where my the story behind that is kind of funny. So if you keep going to the left, Red Fox will like start a line like, "Ooh, admirers follow me everywhere," and my brain always would go to Chowder. I'm not your boyfriend. Um, we don't go that way anymore, but I still kept it a meme with the stream. So there's our technique crank. That is going to allow us to what you would call it, deck scale our weapon. So coming up is Fuoko. We have two strats for him. It all depends on the RNG on the attacks he gives. We can either use the spin to obliterate him real fast, but then that makes the next boss harder, or we can kill him without the spin and it makes the next boss much easier. So it kind of just depends on what he gives us. So we're going to run up here. He's weak to electric. Very good status element. We're going to immediately do a heavy and then light into that. Do another charge heavy. We should have the damage if he gives us a good attack, which he did. So he's locked into this combo, so we can then get a couple extra hits before he transitions into phase 2, which gives us enough time to take the riposte. And we're going to do a charge heavy into a charge heavy, and we should have the damage to kill him right here before he gets into phase 2. It was a beautiful fight, actually. Really all about the RNG he gives, and he gave us some really... Yeah, just like me freaking out in the game. That was really good. Very good. Yes. So that's another thing after Fuoko. Need to have, well, we don't need, I mean, if we're going for world record, we kind of need, gives a good, decent amount, couple seconds. But if we keep a heal uh throughout Fuoko and Atoned, the next boss, we can skip a ladder by using gravity and falling, and then we can heal at the bottom. And fortunately, I got hit on Fuoko, so I had to pop 2 heals, but it's actually fine because during the Atoned fight, we're going to do enough damage to her to get a heal back. Because, like I said before, if you're out of what they're called pulse cells, you're out of pulse cells, your last, well, it will start recharging as you kill enemies. You know, Atoned is a boss, so we're definitely going to do enough damage to up. It's not weak to electric, but status ailments are insanely good in this game. If an enemy is electrified, they will take 20% more physical damage from any of your. So the glaive is a physical damaging. It's going to boost all our damage there. So just putting electric on the glaive is going to be a lot more damage to her. So because we have the Fable by getting the non-spin kill on Fuoko, as long as she gives us not one of 5 attacks, which she didn't, we can do a Fable parry heavy into the spin, tap into riposte, and then a charge heavy, and she's very good fight. Yeah, very good fight. We like to see that. But now here is a fun part. I always like to try and sneak in this incentive if anybody they want to take it or not. But once I do some quick menuing here just to get my belts with the proper items we're gonna need for later stuff, we can then go to our outfits. And if there's an incentive for a costume, we can switch to that here because it's a really long good gondola ride. So yeah, there's a lot of options. So whatever would get, oh, excuse me, whatever incentive gets met or whatever audience says or something like that. or I don't know, if we end up being blanks, end up racing in a different category, like specifically have ones that we want that the other doesn't. But yeah, so obviously a good time for donations. But at the top of this, we always got to have everyone say hi to Greg, fan favorite NPC at the top. It's great. But yeah, other than that, one phone in Vanini Factory, this run is pretty identical to any percent glitchless so far. So here is Greg. Oh, antlers. Greg's looking for the one piece. We tell him every time, Greg, it's in the grand line, not in Crot. He's like, and he loses his hat. And then we tell him, well, and he exactly. Okay. So now we're gonna do this kind of cheeky little jump. Saves like not too much, if that. But if you line up on this bridge and run in the perfect line, it doesn't even have to be that perfect, but you just gotta run in this like to the side, a little to the right. You can run up on the falling bridge and then jump. Kind of nice. The run around really isn't that bad anyway. We're also going to run here. Grab this fire abrasive. Allows us to put fire on our weapon, which is very good for certain. So this bridge is annoying, to say the least. It's puppets versus monsters, but the monsters are like higher level than the puppets, so they always win, and there's more of them, and there's a big one with it. So our main focus is to try and get past Antlers here. He is the big threat. You can do it running red attack. It's kind of brutal. You can just get really unlucky there. We kind of just guess what he's going to do if he runs and attacks at us. Because he has a running fast swipe, and then he has a running, and he'll stop and do the red unblockable attack. Um, and it just so happens if you run without stopping and he does the fast swipe, you'll get hit, won't die. And if you run and assume he's going to do the fast swipe, so you roll it, and he does the red one, you'll get hit by the red one, and that one might kill. So it's best to just run and pray. So here's the ladder I was talking about where we can skip it because we have a heal. And that allows us to do this cycle just fine. I mean, we do, even if we take the ladder, it's kind of like a perfect one cycle of time ladder, I guess you could say, that we can just make the cycle anyway. But it's still that gravity, ladders is slow. We're not a professional fireman puppet. We can't slide down the pole and go stop the fire. All right, this lady always throws acid at us. It's gross, whatever. So obviously at GDQ, I would take the gazer at the start of the cathedral run because I would like to go for this. Really not too difficult. Run into the wall and it forces you to the left, and then you attack a little later than you think, and boom. You do this little wrap around the pole. I always forget playing it. This is why I love having Mitch on my couch. But you can use the coyote time you get by running off ledges to then try to use an item, and then gravity cancels the item usage, so it doesn't use it. It gives you like this forward hover momentum that gives distance. And we can again do that with the glaive to wrap around that with the running light of the. So get through there. I know I said it with the first police bot, but now this is how essentially mini bosses going for us. Um, do stuff, spin, and then if they're not dead, do more stuff. So we do the stuff, we do the spin, and then we take the done. Easy. Oh, and we do the new grappling strategies as well. So we will be getting the Legion Caliber. So we actually needed to get a heal back on that. So I did some extra damage. I did some extra damage to him just to make sure it build heal up. We're gonna take some fall damage, get the Legion Caliber in order to upgrade. Yeah. So we've been experimenting, but unfortunately, there's an NPC side quest here that we're not gonna do. Turns out we don't. Unnecessary slow. There's a lady over in the room straight ahead. We're gonna go right, but if I went straight, there's a lady in that room. We talk to her. She tells us to go find Holy Mark. We find the Holy Mark, give it to her, then kill Bishop, then come back. She drops a record, and the record gives us 40 humanity, supposedly. Which is more than the normal 20 you get from most things. But some of the humanity things give you a ton, according to the guide. But we do the biggest ones, and turns out that's all you need. Okay, we got the Legion calibers. We're gonna come over to Hollandina. Nothing new here from any percent. We're gonna give him the box. There's 3 boxes we collect to upgrade his shop throughout the run, and it's very convenient because it gives us boss upgrade materials, which is what the glaive considered. We buy a lot of the upgrade materials from him. For the next +3, we actually pick up 4 throughout the run. There we go, upgrading our puppet string. Here we're going to upgrade, or we're going to grab the grinder upgrade from Vanini. Allows us one sit at a Stargazer, we can apply fire to our weapon. So that's nice. Free fire use every sit. Very convenient. So unlike electric, which I explained gives you a 20% physical damage boost, if we have fire on our glaive and they're on fire, we will do the fire portion of our attack will do like 40% more damage. It's kind of interesting. Here comes the first usage of the new puppet string tech. We've named this NPC Jessica, or enemy. She's not really an enemy. But we're gonna just stand here, go to the left as she attacks. We're gonna string up to her. The upgrade we just got for the puppet string, normally when we use it, it pulls an enemy towards us. But if we upgrade it, we can hold the button down and it pulls us towards the enemy. And we use it in 4 cheeky spots to get some nice time save, which makes it worth it. Because we do lose like 20-ish seconds going to grab that Legion caliber in the chest and going to the hotel to stopping and upgrading it. We got to make all that back and then some for it to be worth it, and we do. There's like 4 to 5 big uses of it that we were like. We're gonna do the animation cancel on the door here, so we're gonna do Archbishop Andreas. Horrible opener, unfortunately. I didn't do this fight oddly. I think this is gonna knock him. Yeah. Oop. Yeah, little off script, but we basically take down phase 1 and then phase 2. So there's the 3 thermite I said we're going to throw at this boss, and we throw 3 electric grenades as well, throwing cells. Then we're going to parry his first attack. I unfortunately, yeah, that was sloppy, very bad, but we got him. See, I missed his leg when I tried to do some extra damage, but because I did the first phase so weird, I didn't have full Fable in phase 2, but whatever. So here's Alidoro. He is actually the boss soul merchant, I guess you could say. We're going to send him to the hotel, but we can actually use him real quick here before having to go back to the hotel. And we're going to buy 2 boss amulets. So how the boss souls work in this game, every boss soul, you can either trade to Alidoro for a weapon or an amulet. As you may have noticed, we already have our weapon. We don't have to make any weapons. So most of the boss souls we actually just pop to level up more and buy stuff. But with a couple of them, particularly Murphy, Fuoco especially, and later on Victor, we will make their boss amulets and we will use the 2 we just made, Murphy's and Victor. Murphy's is just like more damage if we have more Fable slots. So it's just a damage up. And then the other one, Fuoco's is really good because it is every time you do a perfect block, your next attack will do increased damage. Just so happens, Fable parrying counts as perfect blocking. So the Fable parry into the heavy attack when you have Fuoco's amulet on is absurd damage because it's already really big damage without the amulet. So stacking that on is just ooh. we start melting stuff. Because I do think this game is pretty reasonable in that nothing, like, you can't really over upgrade your weapons by the time you get to hard bosses. And then nothing really does just absurd broken stuff, at least that I've found, other than throwables. All right, so we're gonna run up here. He's gonna bonk into the wall, and then we're gonna do some falling with style. And then we are finally going to do something different. This one's kind of silly. So weirdly found out if we just keep going. So there's a riddle phone on the way to Bros 1. And for whatever reason, if you just go and never stop from like the cathedral on and you don't teleport back to the hotel here, for whatever reason, the phone won't be ringing. And you have to teleport to the hotel and just teleport back and the phone will ring. I've actually discovered we do not need to talk to Vanini here. So this is. Oh wait, no, we do talk to him here. Never mind. Sorry. There was points where we were talking to him and we didn't need to. I accidentally didn't get the Fable there, but it doesn't even matter because we don't need it. We get the Ergo wavelength recorder, which it's just necessary. It allows him to start hearing Ergo voices. I don't know. It's slightly complicated story. Okay. So because we traveled back to the hotel and came back here, now the telephone will ring. Why? Don't know. But it's just the way it is. I did it once in a run where I did not go back to the hotel, and unfortunately, yeah, didn't work. Also, Lady with the Jar fan favorite ABC. She's got the jar. Could be pickles. Might not be. We're gonna run through here. Geppetto's Puppet. A lot of people like this voice. He's great. He's one of the Black Rabbit brothers. I like the voice actor, but I hate the boss fights, especially for the speedrun. I always make a joke here. Okay, it's got to be the boa constrictor. So this riddle is hilarious. I forgot it's like one. I'm young and bold, but I'm short. Whatever. And it's like it's a candle. Candle's the answer. But the other option is like a boa constrictor digesting. It's like what? I so yeah. The answer is candle. Like I stand tall, but then after time, I'm something. Okay, so let me run past this guy. Gives you pokes. Yep. So we gotta roll there. Nothing too special. So now here comes Bros 1. This fight is very RNG. Pray to the gods we get good RNG because just things can go wrong. We will do our best. We have to unequip one armor piece because we're putting on more amulets. We're heavier. The boss amulets are really heavy. We're going to start off the fight by 3 is the magic number. If you didn't know, in Bishop, we threw 3 Thermites, 3 Electric to basically give him the electric stat effects. Now we're doing more damage. We're going to do this sequence. Hopefully, see, the big thing is Little Sister can stay too close, and that guy can ruin our day. Yeah, those little bros can ruin everything. Once you get the riposte, you're in the clear. Because even if your health goes to 0 is after the riposte, you can't die if Big Bro's health goes to 0. Like you'll just always live on a pixel, so it's very nice. Love to see that. But yeah, there goes Bros. There's 4 of them, but we only have to take down the big one, and the fight's over. So we'll take that. Okay. Okay, so we're going to the hotel again. Here's the gold coin fruit. We're going to take that kind of as usual. pop the ergo we got from Bros Fight. Um, so yeah, I don't think there's actually a special here. In terms of like new stuff. So we're gonna usually we gotta go talk to Geppetto. He tells us to go talk to Antonia, who gives us a key. We're gonna upgrade our P organ for the last time, which is going to give us an extra amulet slot, which is, and we're going to get increased uh consumables, which is more stable catalyst, and we're gonna get increased um stable catalyst use. Like normally it fills one blue bar, but now when we use them, it'll fill like a blue bar and a little more. So very good. We're gonna upgrade our stats: 10 vitality, 10 capacity, and 29 tech. The 10 capacity. The idea. This is where I didn't need to talk to Vinny. Yeah. um, but we get that capacity because, like I'd said, the amulets, boss amulets in particular, are really heavy compared to normal amulets you'll just find throughout the run. The glaive itself is also really heavy. So there's three like weight stats you can be at. You can be at light, which is what we want to be at all the running segments. You can be at nothing, which is just like normal. There's no thing in parentheses telling you are. Then there's slightly heavy, which is what we end up being for most of the bosses, which is kind of unfortunate, but the amulets and damage we get is worth it. And then there's just straight up heavy, and you're like fat rolling, your stamina barely recovers. It's just really bad. You don't. Oh yeah, a lot of logic. Still, we're still figuring out the run when I finally got a good one, but we've sussed out that this is truly the fastest. All right, so this is Rosa Isabel Street. We're gonna grab this Vanini's urgent repair tool. Something I haven't really mentioned, but the glaive, like any other weapon, as you use it, it has a little like damage indicator, and then eventually it can break in combat, and then you're doomed. So you have to repair it. If we get this third status effect that we haven't really seen yet, decay or acid, it essentially will degrade our weapon's durability. That item we just picked up is 4 if that so happens. Here's White Lady. She's actually pretty scripted. We're just going to do a charge heavy to time it out on her opening. Then just do 4 block cancel lights into a spin. And then we're going to tap light. And then we're going to take the riposte. And then we're going to do a charge heavy. Just like that. He's dead. Pretty satisfying boss to do. All right. So here's like our first full side quest. Like we're working on Arlecchino and the riddle phones. But now we're truly going to do our first side quest for humanity. So this is Julian, aka Loverboy. He is in love with a, well, okay, spoil. Well, it is spoilers. He's in love with his wife. His wife's a puppet. He married a puppet. So we are going to go retrieve his wife's belongings. Um, yeah, we'll run through here. These are the Magikarps, the most ridiculously vile, shrieking. They're crazy. You can actually get really stuck in there. They're surprisingly hit insanely hard. But they're not too bad. Like if you can get through. But if you get stuck, yeah, you might die. So we're gonna go up here. We're gonna do another Spider-Man trick with the puppet string. This one I really like because it was one of those I didn't even think it was possible. And someone's like, "Look what I found!" I'm like, very cool string trick. But now we're gonna come down the stairs and we're gonna find, unfortunately, his deceased wife. But we found his wedding ring. We took that. But she actually, we run past and don't look very clearly, but she wrote him a message on the wall, like, Julian, I still love you. And it's like, he thinks he's crazy for loving a puppet, but we're kind of on the side of, nah, man, puppets are people too. But they sort of are. So it gets kind of deep. We're going to do another animation cancel on this door. And coming up will actually be our first of 4 Dark Moon Moonstones. These are the upgrade material for the first 3 levels of boss weapons. You need 1 for level 1, 2 for level 2, then 4 for level 3. So that is the first one of our 4 we need to get. We're going to use the running light of the glaive again to skip over the balcony and skip this whole area. It's unfortunate because, yeah, the Opera House is great, but unfortunately the side quest here is way out of the way, and yeah, we just skipped the whole area. So here's King. Very determined. In terms of like world record speed and time, his opener is how much time you're gonna that opener. But there's 2 moments of RNG in the first phase of the fight. We're gonna run up and shoot a puppet string at him. If he does not get aggroed, well, then unfortunately we're gonna have. And then second, if he does the overhead windmill attack, which he just did, he can choose to just do 1 and hop back, and that's bad. Then we get this sweet parry on. Oh, I messed up. That's okay. We get this sweet parry on his Fury Swipes transition. But phase 2, casually, is probably the one of the harder fights in the game. But for the speed run, it's easier than phase 2 because it's perfectly scripted. He always does that opening attack. And because we upgraded our health to 10, even if he does that attack during the spin, it won't cancel our spin and it won't kill us. So that script in phase 2 just works. As long as you don't do it wrong, like miss a parry, gold. So here's our dad. He somehow showed up afterward. Interesting. There he is. Actually increases our heals, which is actually pretty nice. There's certain running segments towards the end where if we have more heals, we don't have to stop at Stargazer, but the enemies we run past just have a chance to hit us as we drive by. Won't slow us down, it'll just hurt us. And then we take a lot of fall damage. Kind of brutal. But now we are going to the Dog Door of Doom. This is just a pray nothing bad happens. Like I would actually, depending on if I took the Stargazer at the Opera House or not, I might take the Stargazer at King just in case. These dogs are just RNG. If they perfectly time their attacks when my iframes are gone from the animation, we just die. Straight up die. Very depressing. You hit by 1, we're at half health, so we'll be okay. But we didn't get hit at all, so that's very nice. So here we are going to go grab the key. And then we're going to actually go finish up Julian's side quest. Try to poke me. Yeah. We're going to take this gazer. We're going to go right back to Julian. That's why we grabbed that Stargazer after White Lady. We didn't sit at it because we didn't need to. But we will grab it so we can teleport back. We're essentially going to mash through Julian's dialogue, and he's going to ask, do you think I'm crazy? Do you think she even loved me? She's just a puppet. And then we tell him, give him the wedding ring and say, or we give him the ring right away. And then we say, I saw the message that she did love you. So he gives us the wedding ring back. And then our springs react, which is the sign our humanity goes up. And we go back to the hotel. And we get this cool cutscene that we can get in more humanity for. So we walk into here, and she's looking at a picture of her old self. She's old and has the petrification. So sad. She's like, do I still look beautiful like in that portrait? And you say, of course. And she's like, oh, you're so nice. And now we're human. Now we're more human. Paul and Dina is also having a crisis. He's falling in love with Antonia. He's her butler, and he's falling in love with her, and he's a puppet. So he's like, have you ever seen that? And because we've done Julian's quest, we can do there's actually 3 different outcomes for this dialogue. If you don't do Julian's quest, you can still tell him you believe there's hope for puppets to be in love. But you can actually get more humanity points according to the guide. If you do Julian's quest first, and then we show him the wedding ring, we get more humanity points from that little Polendina dialogue. That's cool. Kind of neat how that works. So, got more humanity points, a bunch actually, right there, doing all of that stuff. So now we're just going to do the typical exhibition or arcade run. Go to this door. We're going to equip 2 amulets. Then we're going to pop a fable. Actually, we got to pop 2. Now we're going to do heal boost, leap of faith, equip the fire, equip the glaive, put fire on the glaive, and then we got to parry heavy this guy. That's an easy good attack. Do just a follow up into the spin, and he's dead. Beautiful. Armor piece. Too heavy. We don't need it. So then we keep going through here. This is definitely a perfect place for donations. We just run through. This is going to be our second Dark Moon Moonstone. Remember, I said we needed 4 for +3. That's our second. Roll into this lady. Sometimes I get stuck on her and it's annoying, but it's fine. So because we get the key, we have to wait for the animation of the door anyway. It's actually faster to open the door, then go buy from the guy. You buy 5 fire braces and 3 more thermite. All 3 of those thermites are for lovely illusions, Walker of Illusion. Destroy her. And this design, like, I got lost here because I did it in segments like the first time I did it, but I actually recently just did a casual run of this game, and this area is not actually that bad. The design is really cool. Cheeky little puppet string. It probably doesn't even save any time, but it's fine. Okay, so for the next mini boss, you know the drill. It's stuff into spin, into stuff into spin, and all of that. So we're gonna do this one's actually really easy. So casually, this boss is kind of hard. He gives really bad status effect that won't let you heal, I believe it. So we're gonna do charge heavy, charge heavy, charge heavy, spin into charge heavy, and there we go. That dog is barking. Now we're gonna keep going through here. Hey, Nia, I gotta commentate on the run. This would be a great time for some donation. So this only happens because we talked to Vanini at that one hotel segment. He gave us that echo wavelength recorder thing. That's basically what Sophia's power allows her to do. It's like anything she can do, but she can talk to us. They're going. Turns out Vanini can do that too. Yeah, it was funny because we could have actually opened the shortcut door and then gone to that Stargazer and talked to him, but that's slow and out of the way. We'll just go to the next Stargazer. We have to click and then talk to him. Because we do actually finish up Vanini's sort of main quest line thing. It's a side quest thing you can do, but it's like tied to the main story, whereas he has a story tied to very unique. Or I think his butler also, I don't know. We don't do it because we don't need it. It's not worth enough points, so it doesn't matter. So at this point, we will do some menu rearranging. And we got to pop the Fable. Hopefully, I remember to do that. Or we pop the Ergo. We don't actually need to pop the Fable +3 in the weapon. Okay, so we're here at the Grand Exhibition. They were here to show off the puppet's glory and all that. Vanini had a big part in it, and Puppet Frenzy happened before. So, dang. But all this stuff is here. So we actually sit at the Stargazer, click the bottom dialogue to talk to Vanini, advance the quest thingy, and we grab the fourth Dark Moon Moonstone. So on the stairs outside, I grab the third one, and then there's the fourth one right there. So now we can +3 our glaive for more damage. But what's also cool is because we've gotten enough humanity throughout the game, we get this really cool cutscene that we're gonna obviously skip through. But basically, we are turning from puppet to human, so our hair gets longer. Longer hair, yay! As long as I have an outfit that has the hair showing. So we're gonna get our Fable back, and then we're gonna upgrade to +3 our glaive for more damage. In any percent, and I guess probably in this category, if anyone took it ultra serious, you would do a +2 route. Where you just basically level up with Sophia and leave. But so yes. We're gonna do the +3 route for safety, obviously. Like it's not even a real category. It doesn't need to be perfect yet. So this is the Grand Exhibition. Kind of a scary running segment, and the boss at the end isn't too bad. But one thing to note in Rise of P%, we have another riddle phone to answer. This phone is I don't it's funny because I just like kind of know the answers. I don't even know what the riddle really is. But the two options are either glass or egg. And the answer is egg. Egg. Oh, weird. Make our way through there. That grenade hallway is pretty devilish. As long as we do our routing right, we will be fine. Sometimes you can get lucky and run past that guy. Other times, like that time, you have to roll into him. But at least we don't have to kill him like we used to. We're going to take out this hurt guy because the shield guy is blocking the balcony. Like this area casually is kind of scary. Then there's two more grenade guys, but we're just going to run past them. As long as you're fast, you're good. We're going to take the acid abrasive, at least try to. Or use that on Victor, the next boss. So this room right here is on a timer. So once we kind of activate, we hear him sawing through the door. We're kind of just waiting for him to saw through the door. Sorry, my brain is like, I'm also trying to optimize my any percent right now. And I found some stuff, and I think I found stuff right. Why do I wait for that guy to explode? Why don't I charge heavy him? Okay, either way, here's the phone. So what is the riddle? What cannot be used before it breaks? Break an egg, gotta use it. Solve the riddle. Got more humanity. Each phone doesn't necessarily give us a ton of humanity. It gives us some, which is good. But the main thing about Arlecchino's questline is the finale gives us a ton. Once we go talk to him. So here is our next box upgrade for Polendina's shop. We actually end up getting all of the boxes because once we get the final Krot supply box for Polendina's shop, he has perfectly 3 of the upgrade materials to upgrade a boss weapon to full, and just weapons 3. So they're Dark Moon stones for levels +1, +2, and +3 for boss weapons. Then +4 and +5 are half Dark Moon. So there's another item. But you need 1 for level 4 and 2 for level 5. So Victor starts out a little scripted, and then we're kind of at the mercy of what he does. So he's giving me a combo, but that's fine. Parried that just good. Technically, bad RNG because he could give us a faster attack, which kill him faster. But now we're going to use acid for phase 2. We're basically just looking to do 2 Fable heavies with an attack in between. There's the second one. We're going to do a charge heavy here. He's always going to do this grab, so we're going to side dash it. One thing, no, you can't parry grabs. It's just not in the game. And boom. Down he goes. Not gonna do this at GDQ because we save because we go to the menu, the timer stops, right? So because we go to the menu while it's loading screens and stuff, the timer stops. But at GDQ and RTA, real life doesn't stop. So it's actually faster in real life to just do the cutscene. I have to remember which option to select. Because weirdly enough, when we do this skip, where we skip Manus's dialogue after this, we kind of just assume based on the points that it automatically gives us the lie. Because the nameless puppet, like all Ergo bosses route wouldn't work. Wasn't the case. We're gonna mash through these guys' dialogue. They're just trying to con people out of gold coin fruit to help with Black Cat is going blind, and the fruit helps him not be blind. So what's funny is we can get humanity by listening to records, and that record, because we obviously don't want to fight Black Cat or Red Fox as bosses later, like we just want to give them a coin and run past. We have to give them a coin there to do so. We get a record for doing that. We'll never listen to it. It's not enough points to be worth it. We just don't. There is a theoretical route that might work, which does involve using, but I don't want to lab. It takes so long to lab stuff in this. So I've done my work. This is the current route. If anybody wants to come take it, go for it. Did not roll the dog, unfortunately. But this is the swamp. This is a very long running section. It starts off kind of scary with these exploding dogs and gunmen, power filled with gunmen. But once we get past there, then the swamp's pretty. I would definitely say this would be a great time for some. So the dogs that explode have two attacks, and I've never seen them do the tail whip twice in a row. They alternate. So you either start with explode, which obviously if they explode, they can't tail whip because they're dead. And if they don't explode and they tail whip, they'll immediately explode next. Like I've never seen them tail whip twice in a row. Gotta be wary of the tail. That's some good RNG. There's one gunman as we're running up those side stairs where he can either melee us or do a combat roll and shoot us. He decided to melee, so we could just run through just fine. He does the combat roll, then we have to combat roll and hopefully not fall to our death. Here is the last time we will use Alidoro. We are going to take the Arm of God amulet by giving him Victor's soul, and that is the last. So every other soul we're gonna get, we're gonna pop and use. And we've decided, well, we've kind of labbed it, and it makes sense. We can either do Eugeni's quest line or we can do Antonia Cure quest line. And we're debating, but because we have to go back and forth to the hotel multiple times for Eugeni's quest, it's just faster to do Antonia's. Basically, when we were doing Eugeni's quest in the labbing session, at that first swamp stargazer, we actually would take it and then go back to the hotel. And then at the hotel, we talk to Eugenie. She gives us a glove she wants us to deliver to Alidoro. And then on the way, before buying the amulet, we would talk to him and give him the glove. And then he gets all mad because the glove only has 4 fingers instead of 5. Pissed about it. But turns out Alidoro, the real Alidoro, saved Eugenie from a dangerous incident, and he only had 4 fingers. So she made him a special glove, show that in case she didn't remember who she was, because it doesn't seem like he does. She wanted to make that for him. And then he got pissed because he stole Alidoro's identity. He's evil. He's not the real Alidoro. That's why the glove doesn't make sense to him because he has all his fingers. He's not the real Alidoro. A lot about it. Like I'm kind of filling the void. This is probably donation city right here. So we're going through this rolly ball section. Because we got the quartz upgrade that allows us to reduce stamina while sprinting basically. We can make it through that whole running section without stopping, and it's really nice. And we're still just running. Well, kind of cool, but I've practiced. I still need to practice it a lot more if I truly want it in the run. But we're gonna take this ladder and go up and then drop down right across over there. Uh, if you perfectly line it up and perfectly time your jump, you can actually jump that gap, and it saves like 16 seconds. It's crazy, but it is so hard to do. The most I've ever done was 3 in a row, and I haven't been able to replicate that in very, very hard trick. But if you can figure it out and get it, that is an insane time save. Another like big issue, um, we're like almost an hour in, but doing a ridiculously hard trick that far into the run is never fun. So if there's a GDQ, I'd probably take that Stargazer right there just to be safe. But obviously, going for a good time. Wanted a good run. So this is Swamp Monster. The only boss in the game that I know of where the first phase is weak to one element and the second phase is weak to a different. Gonna start weak to fire, so we're gonna come in, charge at him, give this bad attack, unfortunately, but it's okay. Parry heavy, kind of just see what he does. Parry heavy when you can, take him down as fast as possible. There we go, phase one. So now in phase two, he actually finds Murphy's dead body and takes it over, and now we're fighting Murphy phase two, basically. He's actually has a lot of moves similar to Murphy. They're just slightly different. We don't want this one, but unfortunately I was in a bad position. But I got the timing. I got the timing on the final hit. He does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Fable Parry the sixth into the heavy riposte. Very nice if it works. And then just one more, and there you go. But not a bad fight, actually. Somehow Alidoro, who we ran past in the swamp, got here faster than. Not sure how. Whatever. So now we're going back to Hotel Krat. So once you kill Swamp Monster, casually, you can no longer go back to like acts 1 and 2. And there are stuff you can miss early acts. So word to the wise, I guess. So you're going to be running through here. Yeah. I was also still labbing and learning at this point. So we were still optimizing the run. I was kind of like, I didn't completely fix my splits. So my splits are telling me to like take this gazer and go back to the hotel, but we don't need to do that now. So that's nice. We have the route is optimized. We still have to take this gazer because or actually we do go back to the hotel. I'm sorry, I don't know my own strats. We go back to the hotel. In order to talk to Vinny. Oh, we're doing the cure. Okay, so this is the Antonia quest line that we're doing. Valentina has fallen in love with her, but now he wants to cure her petrification disease, and he heard of gold coin fruit that might be able to do it. Just so happens we know of the gold coin fruit guy. I haven't actually talked to him yet, so he's gonna give us a book. Then he's gonna give us this cube, which I like. I'm not a huge cube enjoyer. I don't like the mechanics of the cube. But we get the cure for Antonia from him. Now, weirdly enough, a lot of the dialogue choices in lies and stuff change positions, so it's not like always pick the left option here. But some of them just never do. This one weirdly does. So you actually have to go a little slow here. Make sure you select use the cure. I selected the wrong option once because I thought it was guaranteed, and that's why my run didn't work out. Yeah. Okay. Go do the cure, and now we're going to run through the train station again. All monsterified and corrupted. Right. All right. So this is just another run through. So perfect time for some donations. Nothing special here. Unlike Dark Souls and other Souls games that I have played, I will say the enemies are easier to run past. I've played because I think a big thing of how the game works is they really want you to um block, like perfect block stuff, like Sekiro. I'm gonna block the. So I think they design a lot of the enemies to have long, slow, telegraphed attacks, so you can parry them. I don't know, but I think yeah. But what I was getting to is because they do that, I think they can they have slow telegraphed attacks. They want you to perfect parry them because they have slow telegraphed attacks. They're really easy to run past. There, I said it. I got there. I would have Mitch bail me out in a commentary situation like or blanks or so just running past. There's Robert Weasel. A lot of these humanoid kind of out in the open bosses that aren't like open door to big cutscene. You can run past this. Missing them out. Like Robert Weasel. Yeah, if you're playing this game casually and you're having troubles with Robert Weasel, pretty hard. Hard. Um, Run past him. The next start back. Fight him later. Get a little strong. So here comes this next mini boss. In the world record routing and stuff, and really good. I do a different strategy, but like for marathon's sake, I would definitely fight this guy easier with the spin and sit at a bonfire. But because we don't, sitting at stargazers is slow. We don't want to spin if we don't have to. Oh, I did do the spin strat. Never mind. I was sick of dying to him. Yeah, sometimes you can actually not spin and parry on him, parry heavy him, and it's perfect. But we don't need to do that. So we're going to conveniently buy all this stuff from him. Bunch of throwables and some acid abrasives. Wrong. And here comes the next puppet string trick. Just super fun. I really enjoy it. And this one is actually the one that uh, introduced me to this trick and then started all this fun labbing for Spider-Man tech. But the hitless community, my friend Catslock, he's like, hey, why don't you do this trick in the destroyed crowd area? And I'm like, what? And she showed it to me. I'm like, oh, we don't upgrade the puppet string. Look at that. Fly up here, skip the whole area. Don't even have to worry about getting disrupted. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, when she told me about that, then we started like, okay, where's the easiest and most accessible Legion caliber? That's what it uses to upgrade. And yeah, now we're spider puppeting through. Very fun. This mini boss is literally 2 charged heavies into spin. Ta-da! Okay. So because we spun on the guy knocking on the apartment, we have to sit here or sit somewhere for one of the next 2 bosses. Might as well sit here so we don't have to run far back on anything. But here's the final puppet string trick. Kind of one of the hard ones, actually, but does save a good amount of time. And it's just cool. The main thing is it's cool. So we're gonna go down here and open this chest, and this is actually the final supply box for Paul and Dina. So now once we go back and give it to him, his shop will be upgraded, and he will have the upgrade materials that we want, as well as abrasives we want to finish out the game. Now we have this guy. And we're going to do Illusions Lady. So Illusions Lady is... Nobody likes this boss. So we've literally... we basically, initially with like the wrench and stuff, designed this throwable strat against her. And because it works, because we don't need the throwables for other bosses, we just use it all on her. And we basically do the same strat with the wrench, but instead of a big slam, we're just going to throw all the stuff, repose, charge heavy, and big spin instead of big slam. And there we go. High damage. High damage on the roll. Okay. So normally in any percent glitchless, we would just come out this elevator and run to the next bus. But turns out there's a riddle phone. I think this is the one where I go the wrong way. Yeah, we want to go straight ahead here, and I'm like going the wrong way. Yeah, I got a little misdirected. Oops. So we go over here. So this one is weird because the answer is Ariel. Blue flower that takes lives, blah, blah, blah. So now he kind of starts doing in-game riddles. Gotta run past these guys. Now we go kill the boss. So we did another riddle. So that... Nope, that's the second to last phone. There's one more phone before Bros 2. We answer that. We're going to come up here. Again, I will always give huge shout outs to New Blade Runner for this strategy on this boss. Because before this strategy was found, this boss was a run killer, but now he's kind of free. Hey, kind of, because you literally need to get that parry. Then he summons a minion here. So while he's doing that, we do 2 charge heavies, throw a grenade. The minion can ruin everything, but we got lucky where he kind of got stuck on the grenade and died. There we go. Very scripted, beautiful fight. Now we're gonna run back to the hotel. From what Sophia said, and now the hotel's under attack. So back, see what happened. Yes. So we're basically doing the all ergo bosses route here, except there is one specific thing we have to do. We have to talk to Vanini. If we don't, we will have to like do an extra like teleport. Go up here. Everyone's hiding out in Geppetto's room. We can do another animation cancel on this door. The main reason this even saves time on a lot of the doors like this is you'll like open the door and then take a couple of slow steps through and then do a pose. Whereas if you are do the animation cancel, you skip that last little part. So it saves a little bit of time. Not a ton, but a little. So here we are going to give him the 2 boxes. Unfortunately, he has extra dialogue here because we're doing all this stuff. So now we're going to go on a little selling spree. Sell everything but the gold coins, and we don't need these 2 amulets anymore. We're going to buy 20 some, a low 20 amount of table catalyst, and then full moonstones of the covenant. Yeah, because we gave him both of the remaining boxes, he has 2 and then 1 stack. Buy those, make our glaive +5. It's maxed out. And we have to talk to Vanini here. It basically allows the next time we get back there for him to have an extra dialogue. Very important. And we upgrade our capacity to 14 and our, health 16 as much as it'll go. Play our special piano key and leave. Go over her face. Rude. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so now we are on our way to the hardest boss in the speedrun. Possibly hardest boss in the whole game. But before we go fight bros, we actually answer the final phone riddle. And this one's not even really a riddle. Like they kind of just become weird questions. But he like asks, "Is Geppetto's puppet a killer?" The answer is yes, because it's human to kill. He's basically trying to prove to us that we are human, not puppet. Spoilers. Yep. Yes, and we got the special Trinity key. And because we're all the way up here, we can drop right to the boss room. And yeah, I'd probably use Spectre in GDQ just because, yeah, this fight is all about surviving in a marathon. In speed runs and world record attempts, obviously, we want it to be fast and get lucky and good. It's brutal. Like, we already got bad RNG because it's the middle one. It can be good, it can be bad. Missed that, unfortunately. But I get the parry on her, and then we actually hit them both. But then the worst thing that can happen during the fight happens. So basically, how the fight works is one of the bros will buff their weapon. Yeah, one of the bros will buff their weapon, and then the other two will randomly throw stuff at you. And they can ruin everything. Oh, no, it's his turn. And if you get too close to them while you're fighting the other bro, they'll just start attacking as well. So they can be huge trolls. Usually it opens with this blue wave, but it's not guaranteed. Oh, he's going to do this combo next. Boom. 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 Down he goes. Yeah, that's actually solid. Really good. I'd be absurd if I did that a fight like that at GDQ. But like I said, I'd probably summon Spectre. Um, but the key is like Big Bro is not really a threat at all. Like once what's your once you get the little ones, if you just want to get the little ones done as fast as possible, like you kill one as fast as possible, then you prep your acid, kill the other two, try to kill the third. Once you kill the second one, the third one you want to take down as fast as possible. Like sometimes you honestly have to spin on the last one and pop some Fable Catalyst. But yeah, I was distracting myself. Okay. So this is definitely how submarines work. It's always funny. Because like, okay, dock the sub. Like how? How does it even work like that? I feel like they're gonna explain it in the DLC. There is the shark sub. Was in the trailer. There was like a shark boss. I feel like they made the shark sub in order to bypass the sea monster. Sophia's here. Turns out her real body isn't at the hotel. Actually on this island. Turns out he was just a hologram the whole time. So we need to talk to these memory ghosts. Basically, they're Carlos memories character. PR. They each give you ergo chunks that you can use to pop souls. Weirdly enough, you have to like slow down a little bit in between the first two, or the second one will override the first one and it won't give you the chunk. These are a lot of souls, and we're decent high levels, so we need a lot of souls to level up. And then normally what happens is we talk to this ghost, like in any percent or all our buses, we talk to this one, and then we go straight to Door Guardian. We just run straight, go all the way there. But well, mainly in the other ones is because this ghost does not give us ergo crystal. It gives us humanity, which we need humanity for this ending. So, and that is the legendary stalker from the DLC. I'm so excited for what she's about. This is like the only spots we see her. Like we read about her, but we never see her. I don't think she has any paintings up anywhere. But very excited for the deal. Very, very cool. Okay, so as long as you keep running when they shoot, you shouldn't get hit by the. I think I actually die here, and I get really mad. So I might turn down the video a sec, because this run was cooking, and I've had recent failures to this boss. I've labbed him to make him safer, but it's slower. He basically gives me this one opening where he does a fist down, and then he does a follow up fist down. For some reason, it seems it's chance. A lot of times, this heavy should beat his slam. It should beat his slam, but it didn't. So what I've started doing is you just Fable parry the first slam, and then you Fable parry heavy the second slam. But sometimes he doesn't do the second slam, so it's just like, oh, it's so brutal. Yeah, I was raging pretty hard. I wanted to get a deathless run to submit for this, but unfortunately, Door Guardian strikes again. I will say spoilers though. The rest of the run is deathless though, so it's a pretty good run. Exactly. Half the time he doesn't do the follow up on that opening, but it's technically like a good opening. Like it's like the best one. It's the fastest. I don't know why sometimes he doesn't, but I think I know how to take it safer on him now. So moving forward, we should be fine to that attack. But it is what it is. We're gonna keep going. I think we get much better RNG. Yeah. This one, you can Fable Parry Heavy that first swipe, but the timing is so weird that I've kind of like, for consistency's sake, because this boss is so far into the run and it's past the worst boss bros too. Just dodge the first one and then parry heavy the second one. He seems to always do the second one on that. And then 95% of the time, he will always do that stomp as the opener in phase two. But sometimes he just don't. He's great. So great. So because I definitely really wanted to get a run to submit for GDQ for this category, I take this just to be safe in case I mess up this deck. So here, I might just do the spin at GDQ because it's easier here, but you can do a running light and land on that ledge. And I missed the quit out. Oh, I did die twice. I lied. Okay, yeah, these are the only two. Yeah. So if you do the running light wrong, you fall into the water. But you can quit out and spawn up there. But I failed. Sometimes I have issues where I try to pause and quit, and I pause and it hits the pause button. It pauses and unpauses, and then nothing happens. Can't really quit out if that happens. So yeah, I decided to do the easier route and just spin there because I'd like if I was going grinding out any percent glitches world record though, I would 100% always be doing that running light, just faster. But unfortunately, I'm not gamer, at least on that run. But now we're deathless. We got these scorpions here. We're just gonna be running through our chabby, so this will be a good time for some donations. Coming up is going to be oh my goodness. Hopefully don't die to those scorpions. Coming up is gonna be the next hard trick in the run. I love there's back-to-back hard tricks. Well, I mean, if you do the spin strat on that first bridge jump, it's not very hard. But if you do the running light, it's hard. And then if you do the running light here, it's also hard. Well, I don't know. I'm in the weird boat. In my opinion, the running light is easier than the spin on this one. At least because that first one, the spin is easy to do fast, but on this one, you kind of have to line up the spin. Whereas with the running light, you just kind of just send it. So get across the gap there with the running light. Coyote time. And then we get owned by this guy. I am getting trolled in this run. Didn't really explain it, but the disruption status effect is basically curse from Dark Souls. It is the death status effect. So if you get disrupted, that bar fills up, you just die. Die on the spot. This guy can hit us, but lucky. Deal. See, like, there is potential for the God Run where you go from Bros 1 all the way to Laxasia and kill her without stopping at any Stargazer. That's no safety Stargazers for the running lights. Do them. And the main issue is not actually your Fable, because you only need like 2.5 bars starting Lax fight to beat her. But the big issue is health, because we take a lot of guaranteed fall damage here, and these enemies right there, they're like, they only got legs, stacks with legs basically. They can either, when we're running by them, they'll either headbutt or they'll like splurge acid, and if they splurge acid, you really can't dodge it. That one you can. So it's RNG on how much health we lose from them hitting us with acid. Normally, we are not wearing armor. So by not wearing armor, one acid burst will literally acid us, give us the status. That just sucks. But here is now the final part of the Riddle Phone quest. We are going to use the Chosen One's Trinity Key because we answered the last phone. And there he is, Arlecchino himself. He's like plugged into all the walls while he's got a spear like stabbed into him. And he asks us if we're human. And then we say human. Yes. He basically, if you keep talking to him and get the whole story, he basically discovered like Ergo is like human soul. Ergo is what powers the puppets. We're basically powering the puppets with human souls. So when you take the human soul, put it into a puppet, eventually the puppet turns into the human kind of thing, is what happens. But they're kind of like prisoners. Like you're a soul. I mean, if you're religious and stuff, you get sent to heaven or whatever. If your soul is stuck in a puppet, you're basically still here, but you're a slave because you're doing what the Grand Covenant tells you. Kind of very deep and crazy. But I mean, that's also what's like happening to us. We're getting humanity by lying and stuff. So we are like powering the ergo in us, which is Carlos. Eventually becoming Carlo, sort of. It's fascinating. There's Black Cat. Give him the coin. Now we're moving on. If you don't give him a coin, or if we didn't give him a coin at the swamp, he fights us there. Thankfully, even if that accidentally happens, you can still just run to this elevator and leave. So no issue there. But unfortunately, his sister, Red Fox, if we don't have a gold coin to give her, we have to fight her because the door doesn't open until we beat her in combat or give her a gold coin fruit. That's why we never sell those. We keep those. So now we're going to run through this prison. Obviously, another good donation reading segment because it's just running. Nothing too special. Just a couple of scary running parts with some enemies, but nothing too like running until the end. Until the end. This would be excellent donation reading time. We'll run past this jester. By running to the side there, we give him more of a chance not to see us, but see the other enemy first. And if that happens, We can run right past him and we have nothing to worry about. But if he decides to go for us, then we might have some issues. Good thing he decided to dodge the tongue of that guy. I kind of just like to left to right that tunnel just to make sure I don't get hit by that guy. If you're running straight at him, he'll just tongue at you. You got to dodge. Oh. Stretches. Of course, procrastinated to the last day to get my commentary for this last category in. All right, so we're just still running through here. Casually, like, especially if you're like trying to kill all the enemies and stuff, like this area is pretty tough. But since we're a speedrunner who knows exactly where to go and we don't need to pick up any items or anything, we just kind of fly through this. Fly through it as fast as you really can. Like, this area does just go on and on and on. But we know where we're going. We don't need ladders. We're just going to drop down here, fall damage, and boom. Further. These guys are scary. I'll almost 100% guarantee roll that at GDQ. Because those guys hit like a truck. They always do a 2-hitting combo, and if they hit you with both, you die. First hit does the first half, second hit kills you. But if you run a perfect line like I did and go left at like the last second, you don't have to roll, which rolling is slower than just sprinting. Okay, just like Edge. Gazer. Wanted to finish. Get it submitted. We have a really long elevator. Oh, excuse me. But with Loxasia, just like some of the other, but just like King of Puppets, the first phase is actually where all the RNG is. As long as we do the second phase correctly, he's dead. Like the second phase is actually easier. So really, we just got to make sure we do the first phase well and don't mess up the second phase, and we're good. She is weak to acid. So we're going to equip that for phase 1, and then in phase 2, before we parallel over lightning, we're going to acid up again. Yeah, just to be safe, just to make sure we finish the run and take the Stargazer. Again, this category doesn't actually exist. So it's kind of just a for fun category. But I think it'll make it into the category extensions page. Essentially, category extension has like silly categories like the meme ones like cat pet percent or death percent. So really think this is probably where it's gonna land, but hopefully it ends somewhere. Either way, we're going to acid up, and then we're going to Fable Parry heavy, and then dodge the side and do a charge heavy. Now, what she does is completely random there, and I totally missed. That sucks. Okay. One more Fable Parry heavy. It's basically you Fable Parry heavy the intro attack, you Fable Parry heavy or follow up, and then try to hit her once, and then you do one more. Phase 1 is really not that bad, but it just depends on her attacks as long as you don't miss it. So we only need to parry 5 of the 6 lightning she shoots at us. But we want to parry all 6. That kind of guarantees this follow-up heavy is going to knock her if she doesn't jump up. But she did. I missed the timing, but that's okay. You can actually Fable parry the lightning she sends at you like that. And then delay your follow-up. You hit her with the... So, unfortunately, at the bad RNG where she hopped up. But that's okay because she's down. Now we are going to do final humanity points. So the main thing is we need enough humanity points to get this cutscene to trigger after we give Sophia. Also, I always find this interesting. He basically tells us he decodes this description left by King of Puppets, and he's like, Geppetto started the frenzy, our dad. We actually lie to Benini and tell him, nah, I couldn't hear what he said. Sorry. I always thought that was weird that that was the option you wanted for humanity. But I think it's because he's like, it's our dad. I can't rat out my dad or something like that. Not 100%. Um, so if you're wondering about what happened to Antonia, essentially, she was going to die of the petrification disease. So we got the cure from uh Giorgino, whatever his name is. Um, we got the cure from him, gave it to Paladina, who gave it to her without her knowledge, and then she died earlier, but she was cured of the disease and she feels really good. So it's a nice thing. Then she leaves this memory of beach record, and then we put it in. And normally, to get the humanity from records, you have to sit there and listen to the entire song. And then when it stops playing, it's like, your springs are reacting. Well, turns out if you just put the record in and then leave, it counts as playing the whole record, listening to the whole song. So technically, if you wanted to like listen to 3 records, you could play a record, teleport out of the hotel, play a record, teleport out, play a record, teleport out, and you get all the humanity points for all of it. But we don't actually need to do that because the big side quests actually give us enough points. So as you can see, we got the cutscene. We just skip it, unfortunately. Speed run. But now our hair changes colors. We are now like gray haired, white haired. I don't know. So we gave her peace, and then we got that. So once we get that cutscene, no dialogue or anything matters anymore. We get the end. We have the ending. As long as we defeat Nameless Puppet, get it. Very cool. I assume people would want a pretty long cutscene. Yeah. Also, we get this really cool like cape fit alchemist coat, whatever, for doing Arlecchino's riddle quest line. So I always like to equip that if I'm doing this route because it's the only run that ever gets that. So it's kind of cool. I like the look. Okay, but yeah, this is just another run through the end of the game. These guys with the rapiers can be pretty deadly, but as long as we time our rolls, if they do the big poke attacks, we should be fine. Those enemies are hilarious to run past, in my opinion, just because they always open with buffing all of the enemies around them. Doesn't do any damage to you. Don't have to dodge it. Just, just run. Here's the only scary part in this running segment. I like to make it easier. It does lose a little bit of time, but it also saves us some damage, which we don't have to heal. But we just string that guy out of the way. If you don't string him out of the way and you run and jump across the bridge, he will shoot us. Like you have to like run, stop in the middle so your jump isn't too early. Because like he'll shoot a burst and then you jump in between his first burst and his second. It's just like, I'm just gonna puppet string you off and not take any damage. How about that? So here's Red Fox. We're gonna mash through her dialogue. We're gonna give her a coin, and then she gives us the mask and lets us go. And then we're gonna save Dad. He's locked in the jail. We're gonna pop Laxasia's soul while we open the door. Telling me he was a great dad. At this point, it doesn't matter if we lie or tell the truth here, but technically, I mean, not technically, you say yes there, he will have 3 dialogues to mash through. If you say no there, he'll have 4. So it's very slightly slower. Because I want to take Manus's Stargazer for safety, I just skip that one. Honestly, at GDQ, I'd probably take both in case I mess up this running section. I mean, these guys, those poke attacks, 2-shot. Kind of amazed I didn't have to roll the second hit. There I even went for it. Why didn't I roll there? I'm crazy. But we're just gonna run through here. Scary. Because we have played this game and I've had more viewers and stuff, and we keep naming everyone, we have named this final specific special enemy, uh, Brandon. He's our resident partier. He just keeps partying too hard. So he's gross. He's the only one of his kind in the nobody drop. But it doesn't matter. Final little running segment here. Just gotta see what this guy does. Perfect. We don't grab the acid abrasive because we need to. We used to grab it just for extra. But found out because I tried doing it without grabbing it, the guy just keeps shooting. So for whatever reason, you grab the acid abrasive far enough behind the pillar, he just stops shooting at you. He stops his 3 shots, three shot bursts. So here we're at the end. So final Stargazer, well, second to the final Stargazer, we are going to just dump the rest of our points into Dex and go for the boss. He's weak to acid. So this first phase, I hate. At RNG. He really likes this attack. But essentially, yeah, we're just pairing his attack, seeing what he gives us, and trying to do the most damage that we can. Unlucky. That was just a brutally scary first phase. So the second phase is somewhat scripted. I mean, we have a much more like phase 1 is just parry and kill him. Phase 2 is we actually have a plan, a very important plan. Missed. Can't hit him anymore. So we want to do 2 Fable parry heavies, basically. And then he's going to transition to phase 2, part 2. I don't know. During this, he summons a giant hand, and we need to kill him before the hand comes down. Throw a grenade, perfect block that, into the slam, into the spin, and then we're going to hit him like 1 to 3 times. Depends on how low we roll, but we got him. There we go. Yeah, that finisher is kind of where the script comes into play. Once he gets stunned, and hopefully we did enough damage, it's just prep up, throw the grenade, then parry, like perfect block, then parry heavy into spin, kill him. So now we tell him that we liberated from Archebi. It's a lie. I don't think it really matters which one you collect. I don't know which one has less dialogue options, to be completely honest. Oh, we did it. Oh, excuse me. So we pop the mana soul that we just got. Then we pop the death item. So, but we don't want to do it too early because we do it too early, there's a chance your souls don't spawn at the bottom. We already popped the mana soul. So we're just gonna use it, get some more levels. I don't even think it's necessary. I think if you wanted to save time, you just wouldn't do that at all. 49 dex isn't. So we're going to talk to him, and then we're going to refuse to give him our heart. He wants us to just, here, take it. Phase 1, we're going to instantly shock up, parry his opener. He always does the same opener if we get that. If we do everything, you know. Charge heavy into spin. Then we're going to pop a Fable. Then we're going to take him to phase 2. This is where the real fight begins. So we're going to pop a Fable. We're going to throw a shot put, and then we're going to electric up. Then we'll see what he gives us. He has like 4 openers. There's one. That's good. We really like that attack. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Boom. Down he goes. That was very clean. I honestly thought he died from that riposte, but whatever. And there we go. Down he goes. I may have died to him at SGDQ, but I got my revenge at the hotfix. So hopefully I can get my revenge at SGDQ with a nice hair. So this is it's kind of funny. So instead, well, you know, it is funny. Instead of the mid ending, which You saw my all ergo bosses run. We do kill Nameless, so we get the mid ending. So Geppetto jumps in, saves us from getting stabbed, and then he's like, "You're just a useless puppet," and then the game basically ends. But instead of him calling us a useless puppet, our character sheds a tear. I play on low graphics, so I mean that's less lag. It's better optimal for speedrunning. But you see him shed a tear, and then instead of calling us a useless puppet, he apologizes. And then we get this cool scene with Sophia. So really awesome game. Really cool ending. I highly recommend playing this game and going for this ending if you haven't yet. And Nameless is definitely a tough fight, but really cool. He's gonna go, "You're just a useless puppet," and he's like, "Wait, what?" He hard to see, but yeah, he sheds the tear. He's like, "Oh no, you already were my son." He also has this weird motivation to he wants to not only be um he wants the perfect son who's perfectly obedient and likes him, but if you go through the story, we actually hate our dad anyway, even when we were alive and not a puppet. So let me get this nice we get this nice cutscene. The blue butterfly. Music's great too. So yeah, I'm sure they might want to like watch this play out. Yeah, there you go. Rise of P, the final ending of the game. Don't actually have to do all of the lies and all of the side quests to get it. Just a decent bit of them. But honestly, only about half of them. I'm always just curious where this puppet comes from. Blue haired puppet. Like, did Manus just have one? Right. I think he might have actually. Only think about it. He wanted to control her like Geppetto wanted to control me. But then we kind of like give her life back. So it's like we kind of flip roles. Because I start as a puppet and then become human, and she started as human and now she's a puppet. Whoa. Very awesome, amazing game. Well, I hope you consider any of my Lies of P submissions. I'd love to do the race against blanks, or I would love to do this run. I think this run would be really entertaining for people. Maybe get more people to play the game or look into the speed runs. But yeah, I hope you consider it and have a fantastic day.